I'm just setting up. I was getting my computer ready. Here we go. I think that looks live. Just give me a quick message if you're here, just so that I can tell. I was in a little bit of a rush. I wasn't sure I was going to be here on time, but here I am. So hopefully you can see me and everything looks okay. Yeah, I'm just going to move my computer, my camera down a tiny bit. There we go, just to make it look straight. There we go. Oh, now it's really difficult because there's that little time lag, and so I don't always see it straight away. Hi Laurie. Hi Rosemary. Oh, thanks Rosemary. I'm never quite sure if I'm just talking to myself. Okay, and I was in a little bit of a rush. My daughter's just on the phone, and for those of you who know me, she has a wedding booked in March in BC, and BC have announced new restrictions, and this was the third date that she's had for her wedding, and so we're trying to work out what's going to happen now. So that's why I was a little bit late. So I do beg your pardon. Anyway, today's card, I've chosen something from the mini catalogue, and let's move that out of the way because that's the celebration one. We don't need that. So I've chosen something that I don't often choose to do, and let me find the things I'm looking for. So what I've chosen is this. It's the Butterflies and Flowers Layering Masks. Yeah, fingers crossed, Rosemary. I don't think she could go through with changing the date a fourth time. But we'll see what BC have to offer. So yeah, I've chosen these, and I actually made my swap cards, or one of my swap cards for my Silver Sisters group that I'm in. I used these, and if you look at this card here, it looks like a background paper and then a printed image, but actually the background is made from one of the masks and the printed image is made from two of the masks. And so the card that I'm going to make is this one. So let's pop this out of the way. So I've got a little bit more room on my desk. So this is the card. I'll just hold it up a little bit because it looks really pale in the picture, and it's not really pale. So I don't know if you can see, or if the light, maybe if I just move my light a minute, maybe it's too bright on it. So I know it's a little bit darker at the moment, but I just want you to see that this is the image that I sponged. Oh, that's better, isn't it? And you can see that I've embossed on here as well. So as I say, I don't do an awful lot of sponging. I do for my class that Laurie's in. So we're doing a colouring class set at the moment. And so, is that better then, Laurie? You can see that it's got a texture and you can see the sponging. I leave that light out of the way, but if it gets too dark, just tell me. Okay. So the masks themselves, I haven't even got everything out of the little bag that I had prepared. So I am sorry. I normally have everything just out and ready to go. So that's all the things that we need. So let's pop that over there. And these are the masks. So they're called Butterflies and Flowers. In our class, Laurie, at the end of the month when we do sponging, I've bought the basic masks, and I'll be putting one in everybody's bag because we'll use them at the class. Okay, so let's move that little piece out of the way. So let me see, you get this, like, it could be like leaves or like lace. There's this one. There's a butterfly one, so you can sponge the butterfly in a pale colour, and then you can go over with this part of the butterfly and do that in different colours or a darker colour. There's another little flower on here as well. Hi Libby, nice to see you. we're just talking, this is the card that we're going to make this evening. So, and it's a sponged picture that I've made. It's not stamped, it's sponged. I'm using blending brushes, but you could do it with a sponge or with the little sponge daubers that fit on your finger. Okay. The other two that are in here, let me get a darker piece of card so you can see. Okay. You see that's a really beautiful flower pattern, and you could use that as the whole of a background, or you could just use a part of it. You could, you know, have like different layers of colour, so it's really light at the top and darker at the bottom. And the other one is this. Hi Jane, nice to see you. How are you? You're having a good week? Anne-Marie tells me that there's 38 centimetres of snow with her, so I presume you're getting some of that as well. So yeah, so this is what we're going to use. And as I say, I don't always choose this for my Facebook Lives. I usually choose to show you how to stamp, but I do love the sponging, and I think I need to do more techniques, not just stamping and fancy folds. I need to go back to doing some of our basic techniques as well. So I think that's what we're going to do a little bit more of on the Facebook Lives. And maybe once a month I'll do maybe like a technique Tuesday, and then once a month I might do a fancy fold. Or if you've got any other ideas of things you want me to do, just let me know and I can add them in. So these are the two pieces we need. This one I only need for the leaves, so we don't need that one straight away. We're going to use this one first. So, and it's got these two sets of flowers. And to make the flowers that I made here, you use the thin layer and the thicker layer. You don't use these ones. You don't need those ones. They're like separate flowers that you could put on the inside or on a corner, but you don't need them for this card. Okay, so I am going to put a little piece of scrap paper down, and I've got all my card pieces cut. So I've got my basic white layer, which is this one, cut at 4.5 by 11. It's cut at 4.25 by 11, so I don't know why I've put 4.5, so just ignore that. It's cut at 4.25. I'm pretty sure it's 4.25. Yes, it is. So let's find a green pen there. See, I told you I was in a bit of a rush. So let's change that. Oops. 4.25. There we go. I would hate anybody to cut the card and I've written down the wrong side. Okay, so 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5, and I'm just going to go over it with my bone folder. Okay, then I have a layer of soft succulent, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. And I have another piece of my basic white, and this is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So when it fits on, look, can you see it's just a tiny weeny little gap. So it's cut at 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. I'm actually going to put it that way up because I've got this little mark here, and I don't want to be able to see that. So that's going to go on here, and then the whole thing will go on here. So let's start with the sponging. I've got just one colour for the pink. When you look, oh, that's okay, Jane. So I hope it stays on for a little while. Is it the weather making it go on and off? So this 2 pinks that are on here, it's actually just the 1 pink. Oh, probably is all that snow, Laura, yeah. So I've got polished pink, which is quite a bright colour. So you don't always think that actually polished pink is this pale pink as well. If you don't put too much on, if you're stamping, if you stamp off, then you get that paler colour. And for my sponging and my blending brushes, I'm only going to rub a tiny bit on. Okay, so oh, this is the colour we need. See how it looks so vivid. Right, we don't want that one, but that is the one we need. And I've seen masks used 2 ways when it's a floral detail. Some people start with the thicker one and some people start with the thinner one. And I'm in the let's start with the thinner one group. So here's our card front, and we're just going to sort of line it up in the corner how we want it to stay. And you know, I want a little bit of a gap at the bottom because I want to put my leaves in there. So I'm making it go, you can see my card underneath. I'm making it so that there's a space at the bottom for my leaves. I've got my 2 flowers on and my little one over here. Now I'm just wondering if I did it this way. Just let me go back. I think I did. I had the mask that way. Okay, so I've got my flower, I've got my smaller of the 2 large flowers, and then my little one here, and I'm going to attach it with just some washi tape. Okay, my internet's going on and off, Janet. Okay, I'm not sure why, if mine's going on and off. I don't know. Laurie, is our internet going on and off in Cochrane? Can you see me? Hi, Diane. Okay. Yeah, I made my swap cards like it. I don't know if you've got yours yet, Diane. But this is one of my swap cards. And oh, let me just put it so that you can see. Let me put it down a bit. I moved that light again. It's too bright. Okay. So can you see? Yeah, that's better. Look, now you can see. So if you haven't got my swap card yet, Diane, don't look. So, oh, and thanks for letting me know about my internet. Okay, so I've got the, where's my brush? Okay, I've got my brush. I'm still going to put some of the washi tape over here because I'm not always very precise with sponging, and I don't want half of a pink flower over here. So all I'm going to do is sort of mask off a little bit those flowers that I don't want. Okay. If you think that you would go over and get a little bit on the card over here, just put a bit more on. You know, just add little bits wherever you need. Okay, so this is my flower that I want. And I'm going to use this really dark polished pink ink, but I'm not going to press very hard. I'm going to just load my brush up. If you want to use a sponge or your sponge daubers, you can do this too. So, and I'm going to rub a little bit off, and then I'm just lightly going over all of my flowers. And can you see how you've got a really pale pink? Don't press hard and don't go over too many times because we want it to stay really pale. I love seeing the patterns that come up when you're sponging or using the blending brushes. I love it. And I do love these brushes. They're like those little hair brushes that, I don't know if they still have them, but when my kids were babies, they had little hair brushes like this because really they had no hair to brush, and it was just soft and like a little piece of velvet that you brushed over. And these feel, they're just the same. That's what they feel like to me. So, oh, too much snow. Yeah. Anne-Marie was saying she's got 38 centimetres, and yesterday the trains weren't running. She was going to stay in a hotel, but I think she got an Uber home in the end. And then today there were no trains running. So I hope you're working from home, Diane. So let's take this washi tape off. Okay. I'm just going to lift it carefully. I don't want to tear my card. And washi tape shouldn't, but you know, just because I'm doing a Facebook Live, it probably would. Okay, so you can see I've got a very pale image. I've got a very pale image on here. And all I'm going to do is turn this around, and I'm going to put this onto the top here. Oh, let me just see. It goes this way with the smaller flower at the top. And the way to line it up is to line up these 2 circles. And that's what I do first. I lined up those 2 circles and then these little lines on this flower. So my 2 circles first, and I'm sorry if you can just see my head and that's all. Okay. And if you get those 2 circles right, then these little lines line up in those gaps in the flower there. So once you can't see the gaps, then you know you've got it lined up right. I'm going to pop that back on, and I just know that if I leave that edge like that, I'll get all of my ink over here, and I don't want that. Oh, well, that's good, Laurie, that they haven't got too much snow. I thought we were going to get more overnight than we did. I was quite pleased when I got up and there was so little. It must have been cold for you walking the dogs, Laurie. Okay, so there we go. Now, same again, I'm using the same brush. You'll notice that it's very pink. If you want to have less pink on this, you can easily wash these out. I've washed them with like a dish soap, but I find the best thing to wash them with is my shampoo that I use for my hair. I found that more of the colour has come out if I use shampoo. I haven't treated it to conditioner or anything, just a shampoo. Okay. Now this time, I don't want to rub so much off. I just want to check that I've got pink on there. And then I'm going to go over a little bit darker. And for some of the flowers, what I did was I went over a lot darker. So my small ones, I put more of the pink in, and the big ones, I didn't put quite so much. Oh, now see this, where this little flower is here, I very nearly inked over there, so I'm going to cover that one up as well. And I'm sure you don't have to have as much covering as I do. I just know that when I sponge, I get a little bit heavy-handed and I end up going all over my paper. So for me, this is the best way. You might be a bit more precise than I am, and you certainly don't need it then. Okay. Now what you can do is remove all this washi tape. Goodness me, I've stuck so much down. Remove all this washi tape and just check. You can have a quick peep and think, oh yeah, look, that's coming out nicely, but really I'd like a little bit more pink on this flower here. So I'm going to pop it back down again. Make sure it's over the same 2 circles, those middle 2. Put a bit more pink on here, and I'm just going to rub a little bit more in. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of this. You can clean this mask just with a baby wipe when you're finished, or a little cloth. I don't always use baby wipes, as you know, because I don't like the lint that comes off some of them. And I find that the nicer baby wipes have more lint on them. So I tend, if I do use a baby wipe, I tend to use some of the cheaper dollar store ones. But really, I prefer not to use them. I like my lint-free cloths on my chamois instead. Okay, now that's all of the pink that we need at the moment, and I don't need this mask either. So we're going to use this mask, and all you need to do is choose which of the leaves you want. I chose these little arrow-shaped ones for this flower, and then a combination of these for the bigger flowers, and I'm going to do just the same. So I'm going to pop that down, and I'm just lining up this little circle with that little flower. Okay, and just wherever you want it to be. You can tape this down, but when it's only a small piece, sometimes it's just as easy to hold it down. I'm using the soft succulent, and I'm only going to use a little. I'm going to have it light, and I'm going to make these arrow leaves the darker colour. So I'm just going to hold this on, and just little circles. I don't want too much. You'll notice I haven't sponged off onto the paper, but I'm just doing a little bit. Then you can peel it back, and you can see just how dark it is if you need any more. There we go. I'm going to do the same at the bottom, and the picture comes together so quickly. I'm lining it up on this part of the flower, just with that little curve there. Laurie, have you done any more sponging since our class last month? Oh, this is going to be the kind of sponging we do at the end of the month in our Stamp with Colour class. I know you'd really enjoyed doing the sponging and making all the different colours. Okay, so I've got my leaves here. Next one I'm going to do is this tiny little one here. That's the arrow one that I was using. And I'm just going to put it in between these petals on this tray. Okay, I'm just going to hold it down, and this time I'm going to rub a little bit stronger. If you think you might get ink here, pop another little piece of the washi tape over. But because it's such a tiny bit, I'm just using the very end of the blending brush. The people who were here, you like those finger daubers? Yeah, Laurie. I thought you'd like them that day when we were using them to make our cards and everything. And you were just creating and creating. You made some gorgeous things. So I like those little finger daubers too. And I've only just got used to using the brushes because I find it easier sometimes just with the finger daubers. You can just do a smaller area. So I've only just got used to these brushes, but I actually really like them now. I can move the head a little bit. You see how it's flexible? So if I want to hold it down and sponge with it, means I can just press that head just a tiny bit. I wouldn't like to press it a lot just in case that broke, but it just gives you a little bit of flexibility on there. Now those of you on my team know that at the weekend I was busy on the Saturday watching and joining in with our Super Silver Saturday team event where we crafted all day, and Diane was there too because she's one of my Silver sisters, and she lives in Guelph, and you'll have seen she made that beautiful tissue box cover. I started to make one of those. I've got to finish it yet. I couldn't find the dies that I needed to do the little top cover, so I wasn't able to finish it, but then I remembered I'd lent them to the girl I work with, so I'm waiting for her to bring them back, and then I can finish my tissue box cover. So I loved that idea. Okay, now last thing we need is going to be this little sentiment, and I chose one from the In Bloom set. You know that I've used this a lot lately for my classes. For our winter social we used it because we used this bow, and this was the piece that we had for our sentiments. But today I'm actually going to use a sentiment from it. I don't always use many of the stamps. I tend to use the dies more than anything, but I'm going to use a sentiment, and I want to ink it up, and I'm going to put it sort of over here in the corner. Might lift it up just a little bit like this, and to make sure that I get a really good inking, I'm going to put it on the Stamparatus today, because there's nothing worse than getting your card 3/4 done and then finding that you stamp your sentiment and it's not quite how you wanted it. Yeah, we sure did have a nice day. So, and I loved lots of the ideas, Diane. I'm going to be using quite a few of them on the Facebook Lives here. I'm just going to put my stamp box underneath, because you know when you use this hinge, I've said lots of times, I'm frightened that if I leave it like this and then I flex it, I end up breaking it. So I always just put my stamp case down so that it just rests on there, and makes it much easier. Okay, so let's find, where's my little card? Here we go. I'm going to pop it in here, and I'm just going to line it up with some of these squares and put my little poor broken magnets on. Okay, I know that's nice and straight, and I'm going to decide where I want my sentiment to be so that it looks half straight. Okay, I'm not worried if it goes onto the flowers or the leaves a little bit, but I like the look of that. So I'm just going to press it on. There we go. And then I'm just going to use my soft succulent ink to put on. Sometimes I'll use my little square ink spots. You know, the ones like we get from Paper Pumpkin, or you can buy them separately. It makes it easier to ink up your stamp. You don't end up with this, which I often do. It's just little bits of ink on the Stamparatus plate. So, okay, and I'm just going to press that down. I know I'll have to ink it again. It doesn't look very dark. No, can you see I've got some little dots that haven't inked up, so I'm just going to put some more on. Yeah, our Saturday was really fun, Diane, and I know that we do them every quarter, but that was the first time I've actually joined in with it and been around, so I really did enjoy my whole day. Okay, that looks just about right, except that little Y at the end. It's got a little tiny dab missing, so I'm only going to ink up that right hand side, which becomes the left hand side over here. Ah, that's perfect. Okay, it's always worth just putting your sentiment on the Stamparatus to do, especially if you've spent a long time doing a different part of the card, because you know there is nothing worse than getting it all ready and then you make a boo-boo with the stamping. And normally you can turn it over, but when it's taken you a long time to sponge, you don't always want to just turn over and re-stamp. Okay, let's pop this away. Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you. I know mine had to be by video, my presentation, because I wasn't sure I was going to get back. We'd been in the UK and I was worried that I wouldn't get back. We'd somehow have COVID, and then, you know, I would be stuck in England and wouldn't be able to do it. So I made my video early, and that meant I knew I was going to have something to present. Okay, so here we are. That's it, all finished. Now you can just leave it like this and add it to your card layer and then to the front of your card. Oh, that's not a card, that's an envelope. But I think that looks really nice. It's really elegant and simple, but I loved the effect of having this embossed. So what I did was I'd made another one already, and I embossed it with the, what do they call that one, that textured, oh, I can't even think now. Let me find the catalogue. I want to say Touchless Textiles, and that's not what it is. What's it called? What's it called? Tasteful Textiles. So it's this one. Oh, a little elf has just brought me a drink. Thank you very much. Thank you, love. So, now I've forgotten its name again. Tasteful Textiles. So that's the one I've embossed it with. And so I'm going to use the one that I've embossed. I'm going to add it just onto my little soft succulent layer. And sometimes with these embossing folders, you might find it's a little bit trickier to get them to stick, because especially with the 3D ones, some of the gaps are quite big, and not so much on this one, but some of the gaps can be quite big, and you don't always get a lot of glue on. So I like to use the liquid glue for this. Okay, I'm going to just turn it over and go over with my bone folder. Okay, and then we'll add it to the front. I'm not putting it on with dimensionals or anything, but you certainly could. If you wanted to pop it up a little bit more, you could pop dimensionals underneath that layer. I'm just going to centre that. You've got a nice little border all the way around. And then for my little gems that I put on. They're these ones, which were from that paper ephemera pack. Well, do you know, I can't remember the name of anything today. I'm surprised I remembered my own name. But I have to look up that ephemera pack as well. And we only used it 2 weeks ago in the winter social. Remember we had those lovely gold leaves and little pieces? Let's see where it is. It's not going to be easy for me to find, and it should be. Laurie, do you remember what it was called? You know that nice gold pack that we used? It's somewhere over here at the back of the catalogue. I can't just see it. Oh, here it is, this one. Expressions in Ink ephemera pack. And we used all these little gold leaves and the little decorations and these little gold pieces that you can put around a sentiment to make them pop out. And it comes with 50 of these adhesive backed sequins. There's actually 2 packs in here. You don't get 2 packs, you only get 1. It's just that I'm storing them together in there. And let's find a piece of card to sit it on. They're sort of iridescent, so they'll pick up pinks and yellows and greens. And it seems to be that whatever colour you put them with, they work perfectly. So the little gold foil pre-cut pieces, you get 5 sheets with 10 pieces on. Oh, and I beg your pardon, there are 100 of the sequins, not 50. So 100 of the 40mm sequins. Okay. Oh, as I'm looking at it there, they're really dark pink. I don't know if they're picking up the pink from here. No, or just have it the right colour. Can you see how pink they look? But, you know, hold it a different way and you wouldn't see the pink at all. Let's find a pokey tool. And I'm just going to put 3 on. You could use any of your embellishments. I also like to use just the clear rhinestones, and then I'll either colour them with one of my blend pens or a Stampin' Right marker, or I'll use the pearls and put those on too. You could, because you can colour those whatever colours you need. Okay, let's pop these back in here. Now another nice thing to do for this would be to put a little flower on the inside. We could have done that. Pink is perfect, Laurie. Pink is always perfect. And you could do your envelope the same. So we've actually got time. I could just do a little bit on my envelope, and I might even use one of the different flowers. Let's have a look. One of the flowers I haven't used before. So let's see what fits in these. Let's take this tape off. Does anybody else have this set? Have they bought them and used them yet? Let's stick that over there. I don't know if these flowers fit into these ones. Ooh, they sort of do look. But they're quite a big flower. It would only have a tiny little edge. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to start with the thin one. I'm just going to practice it on here first, and then we'll do it on our envelope. So just going to go round and round, not too dark. Let's start it off a little bit dark, but this is only a practice. Okay, so then let's see with this one. No, it can't be that one. Oh, look, I think I've just done it the wrong way around. I think you have to do this part first. So I'm going to do this one. And we'll go over just lightly. And then we'll put this one on top and make it darker. Let's see what that looks like. I put very dark in the middle. Let's have a little peep. Oh, it's pretty, but I like these flowers better. I can't say it's not pretty. It is pretty. You just got the set, Libby? Oh, you need to join us on our Stamp with Colour, Libby, because we're doing sponging. Last month we did sponging, and this is part 2 of sponging, and we're using masks. So let's see. Let's just put a little bit of this on. See how that would work. No, you know, I like all of it. I'm going to put all of it on. Let's get that washi tape again. I like all of it. And it doesn't matter if you're right on top of it, does it? I don't have to stick it down quite so much because it's just the envelope. So just pale to start with. I'm going over the whole of the picture really quite quickly. Okay, and then I'm just going to move this down, take that off. Beautiful pale picture there. I'm going to line up these two circles and those little lines there go in between where this little gap is on each petal. Well, let's line those. Where's the other circle? There's one. Sometimes when you do it really pale, it's tricky to see. So let's see if that's in there. Yeah, I think so. Let's go over it a little bit darker. It's always nice to have a matching envelope, isn't it? Let's have a quick peep. Oh, yeah, I need a little bit more down here. Can't quite see on that one. There we go. Okay. Nice. Should we do the inside while we're here? Nice. Pop that there as well. And I'm going to put a little bit down here because I don't want ink on the inside of the card. It will be okay if it's the envelope, but I don't want it on the card. So again, I'm just going to do it really pale. How's that beautiful grandbaby of yours, Libby? I know you sent me some pictures at the weekend. She's not a baby anymore, is she? No, she looked all grown up. Okay. Oh, I did the dark one first. Oh, well, we'll see what happens when you do the thick one first and then go back. So that maybe should have been a little bit darker. I can always put it back in. Let me put these circles back on. It's a little bit harder to line up. You should have told me I was sticking it in the wrong one. Never mind. There we go. There we are. So this one has to be paler. And then I might have to go back over with the thick one and the darker. Let's see. Oh, we'll see, won't we? See what happens. Okay. Oh, do you know, it's just the same. I don't know why then I always go with the thinner one and then the thicker one, because it works either way. You can do it either way. Well, who knew? Yeah, she's growing up too fast. Just tell that mummy she needs to have 6 months off and keep her as a little one. She's not ready to be bigger. Okay. And then let's put some little leaves on. We'll do the envelope and we'll do the inside. Just teeny weeny bit. I don't want too much because I know I'm going to be writing over here. But it's nice to just, I think I'll just do one. It's nice to get just a little bit. And let's go back to that envelope. And I don't know how these ones fit on. Let's just fit on those. I'm going to do just the little ones. I don't want to do too much where the writing's going to be, just in case it makes it difficult for the postman to read. Yeah, Diane, I have to put washi tape on most of the time, otherwise, you know, my hands move and I can't get back to the same exact place that the stencil should be, or I end up with ink on my card. So, there we go. let's move these pieces out of the way and have a look what we've made. So I've got my envelope. Let's move that one. I've got my card. Oh, not that one. I've got my card with a little piece inside. Diane, on the swap cards, I didn't stencil inside. So don't open it and think, oh, she forgot mine. I didn't do it on anybody's. Okay, there we are. And then if you prefer, or you don't have the cotton emboss machine yet and you can't emboss, this would be it. Just, let's put it on top of there. This would be it. Still really plain, elegant, simple. But I do like the little embossed one best. But this would still look pretty if you put your little embellishments on as well. Let's put them on, just so you know. Pop a couple over here. I've got a little tiny dot there, a little dot of ink or something, so I'm going to put one of my little gems on there. There we go. And I'll just lay that so it's nice and straight, and then you can see. There we go. Which do you prefer? Do you like it plain or do you prefer the embossed? I prefer the embossed, but before I looked at how it was embossed, then I loved it plain as well. So there we are, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I don't have too much time left this evening. I do have to go back to talk to my daughter just to see what it is the BC are offering and what she's going to do for her wedding. So I'm going back to chat to her and see what we can do. So thank you for joining me. Laurie, you like it embossed best? Yeah, I think I do. I think I do. It almost looks like canvas then, and it makes the sponging sort of melt into the card a little bit more. Here it's, you know, it's sort of more proud almost. It stands out more. But this, I love this because it just looks like an old watercolour painting. No, on canvas. Really pretty. So thank you so much for joining me though. I will post this to my YouTube and I'll get all the measurements and everything for you ready for the card and just a little list of what I used. So I'll see you all again next Tuesday. Join me on Saturday as well for my YouTube. I'm going to be using something else from the new catalogue, and I think I might actually choose something from the celebration. Today I got this. I already had the paper, as you know, but I got the stamps and dies that went with this, and I also got this one. This little catching butterflies, and it's pretty cute. I know my friend Diane Inkster, she's got this set and she's been posting lots of things that she's made with it, and it inspired me to get it for one of my free gifts. So I spent my $60 on the daffodil dies and stamps, and then this is what I chose for my free gift. So don't forget to tune in for my YouTube as well. Thanks, ladies. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you all again really soon. Take care and stay out of the snow. Bye.